Hello and welcome to the CNBC TV 18 special. We're coming to you from Palo Alto. This is the office for Infosys, and joining me here on the show is Vishal Sikka. Vishal, always a pleasure to have you join us. On the 1st of August in 2014 is when you first walked into Infosys. 3 years down the line now, and I'm just taking a look at the numbers that we have in terms of constant currency. FY15, 7.1%, FY16, 13.3%, FY17, 8.3%. 18 would have been great, right? But and FY18, your guidance is between 6.5% to 8.5%. As you assess the performance of the company since you took over, in hindsight, would there have been things that you would have done differently?
Oh, always, of course. Hindsight is 2020. But the quarter that I started, we had just over 2.1 billion in revenue, reported revenue back then. Now we crossed 2650. So that is, we have added another 550 million or so in a quarterly revenue, more than 2 billion in yearly revenue. So that is something I'm proud of. What is even more noteworthy is also that we have kept our margin performance very strong while the revenue has grown. And most importantly, our revenue per employee has grown significantly. As you know, this is a true measure of how structurally improved the growth is. How are we bringing in the automation, the software, the non-linear aspects of the business in. And for 6 quarters in a row, our revenue per employee has gone up. We are now just a little bit short of 52,000. When we started, I think it was around 50,000, something like that. So all of these are good signs. Our utilization last quarter was 84%. That's the highest in 15 years. Including freshers, it is the highest ever. And then if you look at the number of large deals, the number of $100 million clients, on every dimension the company has done very well. What I'm also proud of is the new software and the new services revenue is now about 1/10 of the company in Q1. But if you look at it, these are things that did not exist in April of 2015. That means that in the last 2 years, or 2 years and 1 quarter, the $2 billion in revenue growth that we have seen, 1 billion of that has come from things that did not exist back then.
I'll talk to you about that in just a second, but since you talked about margins, let me look at the margin picture now. TCS, EBIT margins are 23.4%. For you, it's a little over 24%. Wipro,
we beat them on margin performance for a long time.
And since you were talking about utilization as well as being able to squeeze out more revenue per employee, you have maintained your margin band, at least when you put out your commentary for this particular quarter. But what can we truly, realistically now expect as far as margin performance is concerned in the context of the fact that look what's happening in the US? I mean, even today, President Trump supporting a bill which talks about, drastic changes to legal immigration. You're hiring significantly more in the US. So what can we realistically then expect about margins going forward?
See, margins are a function of, in the past, when the IT services company's business model was largely driven by cost-oriented offerings, then you see that the margin is based on the sort of a downward spiral. Whereas my own sense is that increasingly we have to base our value on next generation offerings, on the things that nobody else can deliver. For the foreseeable future, we see this band that we have given, that Ranga has given, 24 to 25, 23 to 25. And we did 24.1 in Q1, and I think our margin guidance is 23 to 25 this year. And that is because of a variety of factors. Currency is one of these. And
since you speak about the currency, today we've breached 64. So how much of a headwind is that, and how do you deal with something like that?
Currency goes up, currency goes down. It doesn't matter. I think our finance team, Ranga, does the calculation on what the impact of the revenue part of it is itself as well. So I don't want to comment on that. What was it that started Star Trek? The captain, what was it? Scotty. Scotty used to say, right? No, Captain Dr. McCoy used to say that, damn it, Jim, I am a doctor, not a bricklayer. What can I say about currency? Currency will do what currency does. However, the structural part of margin, which what I am working on for the longer term, is to move the company towards innovation, move the company towards software, towards new skills, and those are all higher margin things.
Okay. So you're saying.
And by the way, the proof is in the pudding. You can compare us to the rest of the industry.
I did. But you were talking about new services and the new software services that you launched in 2015, and that amounts to about 8.3% currently.
New services is 8.3 and new software is
yeah. So where is this number likely to be headed, given where you find the company today?
Way north.
So when you say way north, obviously you base that on the fact that you're seeing enough traction on the ground.
Of course, what I meant by way north is our expectation obviously is that this is way north, and we are seeing strong interest in these offerings. Obviously these are future-oriented offerings, and so our expectation is that the growth rate on these is significantly faster than the growth rate of the company. And that is going to be our endeavor as well. But I mean, we are reporting. Last quarter was the first quarter that we have reported this. So we'll report it on a quarterly basis now, and that is our endeavor to see that this is growing faster than the company.
Let me ask you about what the acquisition strategy is now likely to be. When you came in 3 years ago, the view was that Infosys is finally going to go aggressive as far as acquisitions are concerned. Things have taken a turn. We've seen Ritika Johri move out of the company as well. So are we now given to understand that at least for the foreseeable future, acquisitions are on the back burner?
No, absolutely not. We want to acquire companies of the future. We don't want to buy the past. We don't want to acquire technologies of the past. This is what I have consistently maintained. We are interested in acquiring skills and capabilities that are future-oriented around design, around AI and machine learning. So the Skytree team that is sitting behind you, Panaya and Scava, the Scava guys are over there, and similarly in the next generation, all the next generation areas are the ones that we are interested in. And there we have the dual challenge of ensuring that our ability to integrate the business, our ability to find synergies with the business, as sort of a spiritual alignment with the company, if you will, and the purpose of the company. All of these things have to be in place. And of course, exciting new companies in new areas tend to have higher valuations, so we have to balance that as well. So all of that has slowed down the rate at which we have done acquisitions in the last year or so, but I'm not...
But do you still have the appetite, Vishal?
Yeah, definitely.
You do?
Yeah. I mean, so if
and
you look
you
at
have the backing of the board as well?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
If you look at the capital allocation policy that we have announced, it sets aside enough for us to do the acquisitions to be able to purposefully grow the business. We don't want to buy revenue share, we don't want to buy market share, we don't want to buy growth, but we want to buy things that can accelerate our endeavors in certain areas.
We talked about Ritika, and she's just one
By the way, Ritika was not running M&A.
Sure. Yeah. But, she's just one of the exits that we've seen over the last few months at Infosys. And this seems to have become a cause for concern that you are losing senior talent.
Not at all.
You're not?
Not at all. No, this is a complete nonsensical myth that has been propagated in some parts of the...
There's more than half a dozen people who've left.
Yeah, but it happens in every company. We actually did an analysis, both in terms of our own past, as well as in terms of the other companies in our industry. And there are far more executives who have left. Every other company that we could think of. Krish, our head of HR, just did an analysis of this together with some recruiting companies and so forth. And we are far lower in terms of executive attrition than other companies. And so this is absolutely, there is a fixation on Infosys, and I appreciate that. When individual people, including assistants and engineers who have left, and they keep showing up in the list. But now, having said that, when I started, you have to remember what the situation was like 3 years ago when I started. Actually, yesterday was the 3 years.
Yeah.
There was a lot of anxiety in the company at that time, and a lot of senior executives had left. There was a very young team in place. That I inherited. And when you go through a significant transformation like this, not everybody makes it through that. And that is just the nature of things. The second category is colleagues like Ritika who followed me, or Michael Ray, and they left for a different set of reasons. Because when they came here because of me, their endeavor was to be a part of the change, to contribute. Many of them took salary cuts to come here, and change is difficult, And I am sad to see them go, obviously, but it's the price that we pay for going through the transformation that we are going through.
Let me ask you then, Vishal, about the plan specifically as far as the US is concerned. You've outlined a hiring plan of about 10,000 odd people. 600 have already come in Q1. The long-term impact as far as business model, margins, etc. are concerned, and how much more concerned are you getting? As I said just this morning, there's this new bill that's been proposed by 2 Republican senators. What finally happens to it is a different story, but it has the endorsement of President Trump, and it talks about bringing down legal immigration significantly. So, give me a sense of how challenging the environment is getting.
Clearly in the last 1 year, there has been some additional, I guess the business lingo is headwinds because of these things, Brexit and the immigration sort of atmosphere in the world around us. But I think that our plan to do the hiring is not based on regulatory and policy changes and so forth. It is based on the fundamentally changing nature of work.